Okay, so good day, everyone. This is lecture two. So we were able to cover introduction to microbiology. So let's move forward to uh, more specific topics related to bacteriology, which is, of course, the structure of our microorganism. Okay. So the objectives, learning objectives for this is that at the end you'd be familiar, with the different structures of the bacteria as well as its purpose or function. So let's begin. Bacteriology again is the science of or the study of bacteria, no, or specifically eubacteria or true bacteria. Okay, since there are other members, in the group bacteria, okay, such as the archaebacteria. These are ancient bacteria with shapes unlike our clinically significant bacteria. So archaebacteria will not be included in the discussions for clinical bacteriology. So uh, it's important to understand that the group of bacteria included in clinical microbiology is eubacteria. Okay, so characteristics of your bacteria would be they are unicellular organisms. They are prokaryotes, of course. No, later on we will review on that. No, I believe everybody already has an idea as to the types of cells. No, based on components. No, so bacteria is a part of the prokaryotic group. No, they are unicellular. They are free living. No, a lot of them are found in our environment. No, our bacteria, though they are prokaryotic, contains or includes DNA and RNA in their genetic material. They multiply via binary fission, okay? And so they're able to demonstrate these types of shapes, okay? So we will go through them one by one in a while, okay? So, when talking about bacteria or structures, the first thing to note is their morphology. No, morphology refers to the size, the shape, and the arrangement of microorganisms. Okay, so for the size, our bacterial organisms are really small. No, that's why we require the use of microscopes to be able to see them, no? Especially those that are clinically significant. No, they measure around zero point 0.2 to 2 micrometers by 1 to 10 micrometers in diameter. Although there are some bacteria that are large enough not to require the use of your microscopes, like your Thiomargarita namibiensis, which can measure around 100 to 750 micra. And then most specifically, another member of the same genus, we have Thiomargarita magnifica, which is the largest by far, no? Which could measure between 10 to 20 mm. So dako kay makita na gid nato ni sa atong mga eyeballs. All right? So however, your Tayo Margarita Magnifica is yet to be identified as clinically significant. No, so far, they are found in the environment. Okay. So Tayo Margarita, by the way, they're named such because they look like sulfur granules, no? Tayo meaning sulfur, Margarita meaning pearls. So uh, sulfur pearls ang itsura nila. So large enough to be seen by the naked eye. Okay. And then the shape, no? So part of the morphology is of course the shape. And we know for a fact that bacteria, clinically significant bacteria, uh, are divided into three basic shapes. We have spherical or the rod shape. Okay, ayan. We have spherical or round, okay, circular, rod shape or bacilli. Okay, so cocci or spherical, ayan. Rod shape or bacilli, eto naman, no, pahaba, mukhang hotdog or sausage. And then meron tayong mga kulot or the spirals. Again, cocci, spherical, bacilli or rod, and then spirals or the curved, bacteria. Okay? Now, of course, again, morphology includes arrangement, no? So for spherical organisms or yung ating mga coccal organisms, they may be arranged in pairs like yung nasa taas, no? Your diplococci, okay? They may be arranged in clusters like this, no? Your staphylococci. Cocci is plural, by the way. Cocos kung isa lang, okay? But it's rarely that we get to see just one. Usually, marami sila. So, cocci ang gamit. Or they could be arranged in chains like this, no? Strepto, meaning chains. So, streptococci. And then tetrads. O, alam niyo na yan, no? Tetrads, yung tig-aapat. Octads, by 8, no? Pockets of 8. Or also known as sarcinae. Okay? So, pag pockets of 8, sarcinae ang tawag sa kanila. Okay? So, these are the usual arrangements for spherical organisms. Now, what about rod-shaped organisms or bacilli? So, si bacilli may be single, ganyan lang. O, gaya ng marami sa atin dyan, single. And then, pwede rin namang diplococci like this. So, note that pag diplococci, they are attached at one polar end, hindi side by side. Okay, one polar end because that's how they divide. Okay, so diplobacilli or they could be streptobacilli in chains like this. Pwede rin naman silang, ito hindi naman arrangement but rather a shape. Okay, yung cocobacilli, gaya niya, no? Punggok. Okay, short and stout. Okay, ayan. And then there are times where they are arranged in fence-like manner. This is usually demonstrated by the TB bacilli. No, meron sila nung palisade arrangement or side-by-side arrangement. No? So, yan. Okay, so single, diplo, strepto, palisade ang usual arrangements. Additional sa shape, may mga bacilli na short and stout. Okay, so ang tawag sa nila ay coco bacilli. Okay, and then of course, we have spirals. Okay, so we have curved organisms. They may be divided into two groups, no, based on the number of curves or curvatures. So spirilla are those with short curves or limited curves, mga dalawa, tatlo, ganyan, no? Isa to 1 to 3 curls na or curves ang meron, okay? And then those with long, regular, or tight coils are called spirochetes, like your treponema o yung agent ng leptospirosis, your leptospira. They are spirochetes. All right. So those are the different three morphologies of bacteria and their arrangement. All right. So moving on to the types of cells. So I promised earlier we're going to revisit this, although this has been taught you in your early sciences, maybe in grade school or high school, no, biology subject maybe. So let's just revisit, no, for you to be to remember, okay, the characteristics of the two basic types of cells. So we have prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. So the main difference is that your eukaryotic cells, no, which would include human cells, animal cells, plant cells, fungal cells, parasitic cells. They are eukaryotic, no? What makes them primarily different from your prokaryotic? It's because of the presence of their well-packaged genetic material. Okay, so they have the so-called nucleus with the nuclear membrane that encases the genetic material. This cannot be found in prokaryotic cells. No, why sanina ang genetic material sa prokaryotic cells natin hubad, no? Meron lang silang tinatawag nating nucleoid area where the genetic material are found to be coiled in. Yan, no? They may have, both cells have cytoplasm, of course. Without that, they cannot perform metabolic functions. Okay? Of course, may genetic material, no? DNA, RNA, may nucleolus, no? May mga ribosomes, except that si eukaryotic cell, mas marami siyang organelles, kompleto. May mitochondria, may mga lysosomes, may Golgi apparatus, di ba? May mga endoplasmic reticulum, your RER, your SER, daghan kaayo siya. Si prokaryotes, simple lang, no? The genetic material, ribosomes that are free swimming in the cytoplasm, some vacuoles, of course, to transport materials, no? And then they do have the cytoplasmic membrane or plasma membrane, and then cell wall, no? Some prokaryotes may have cell wall. Similar to eukaryotic cells, some eukaryotic cells have cell walls like plants, okay? Or fungal cells. But of course, human cells and animal cells or mammalian cells do not have cell walls, all right? Now, let's proceed with the structures of a prokaryotic cell, no? Because bacteria is a prokaryotic cell. Okay. So first, we have the flagella. Okay, so the flagella includes the filament o yung nakabitay-bitay, no? Yung umiikot at gumagalaw. And then it has the hook, which is yung the main connection between the filament and the structure, no? Bacterial structure. And of course, the basal body. Ang basal body, yun yung nakabaon sa cell wall and cell membrane ng bacterial organism. So, flagella, bacterial flagella is the organ of locomotion for a lot of bacterial agents. No, specifically, your bacilli. Okay? Si Cocci, walang flagella si Cocci. Napaka-weird, di ba? Mukhang lollipop na weak yung kanyang ano. So, wala. Non-motile ang ating Cocci. Tandaan. So, flagella is usually seen in your rod-shaped organisms. So, the flagella allows them to move around as it rotates, no, around 360 degrees. Now, the main protein component of flagella is flagellin, and it's known also as the H antigen. So, those that are motile have the H antigen or are positive for H antigen. So, for example, si E. coli, which is a rod-shaped bacteria, okay, has a serial number. May serial number sila, di ba? Dahil ang dami nila. So we have O157. O is another antigen. No? It is the somatic antigen for the bacteria E. coli. So meron siyang 157 serotypes of somatic antigen perting daghana. Okay, that's why we need numbers to identify them. Okay? And then, so it has somatic antigen 157 and H antigen type 7. Okay, so O157H7 is one of the most pathogenic types of E. coli. All right? Now, we can also classify bacteria based on the type and arrangement of flagella that they have. No? So, kung isa lang ka, flagellum. Okay, so ang tawag sa kanila ay monotrichous bacteria o di ba parang lang hotdog on a stick. And then pag merong dalawang flagella, no? O one at each polar end, ang tawag sa kanila ay amphitrichous. Okay? And then, pag merong tuft or group of flagella located at one polar end, we call that Lophotrichus. Okay, so pag ganito yung itsura ng organ, mukhang si ano, Squidward, something, no? So, oh, yon yung character natin sa SpongeBob. So, ganyan ang itsura niya, di ba? Mukha siyang squid. Alright, so Lophotrichus ang tawag dyan. At one polar end, pero tapok po. Okay? Pero pag all over ang flagella niya, ang tawag doon ay Peritrichous organisms. Ayan, no? So, mukha siyang rambutan. Oh, may flagella all over. Yan. So, flagella also helps identify or categorize organisms. Now, there's another type of organ of locomotion, which is especially found in spirochetes. Okay? We call that the internal flagella, also known as eggshell filaments or periplasmic filaments. How is that different from the flagella that we have discussed earlier? Si flagella, nakabaon lang siya, okay, sa cell membrane and cell wall ng organism. However, the internal flagella found in your spirochetes are wound around, no, nakapulupot around the organism. Okay? Nakapulupot around the organism or your spirals. Ayan. So, klaro dito, di ba? Oh, naka-scanning, ano to, electron microscope. Pero kitang-kita natin yung kanyang eggshell filaments. Okay? So, organ of locomotion for spirals. All right? Then we have, okay, appendages for attachment. These are organs, no, organs rather, of bacteria that are used for attachment. So ano yun? Okay, this is unlike the flagella. Ang flagella is organ of locomotion. Ito naman, para makadikit sila sa mga membranes natin. So one very good example of such structure is called the fimbriae. Okay? So the fimbriae, ito kitang-kita, di ba? Oh, naka-ano siya, 'di ba, naka-scanning ulit ito para or transmission kasi kitang-kita rin naman natin yung component sa loob, no? So, ayan, 'di ba, kitang-kita ang kanyang fimbriae o murag balahibo, mura siya kato ganing velcro na naa sa mga bags, no? O yung parang dumidikit-dikit, ayan ang itsura. So, these are shorter than flagella, okay? So, they are fine hair-like bristles found on the surface of the bacteria na ginagamit nilang pangdikit sa ating mga endothelial linings. Okay, so for adhesion. Now, fimbriae may be divided into two types. No? The common fimbriae, ito yung marami. Ito yung nakikita natin balahibo. That's the common fimbriae or common pilay. Okay, common pilay ang tawag. Okay, now there is also another type of pilay na ginagamit not for attachment alone, but it's used also for conjugation or mating. And that's called the pilay or sex pilay. Okay? So pag marami, common pilay. Pag yung mahaba at konti lang, yun yung sex pilay. Gaya nito, no? Mahaba yan. So parang ito yung parang tintin ng ating bacterial cells, like usually bacilli. Okay? So these are appendages that can be used for mainly for mating, but also may be used for attachment, pero mainly for mating ito. Okay? Tapos isa lang yan per organism. Okay? Now, the basic protein found in pili is pyelin. Okay? And note that this is only found in gram-negative bacteria like your E. coli. Okay? So, this joins bacterial cells for genetic transfer or yung tinatawag nating conjugation. And then, may be used for adhesion also. All right. Then we have uh, the bacterial surface coating. Ano ba yung nandun? Okay, yung balat o yung naka-cover sa bacterial cell. So we'll start from the external structure and then papasok tayo. So the bacterial surface coating is known as the glycocalyx. No, this is the external. This is external to the cell wall. Okay? So labas pa ng cell wall yung glycocalyx. This is mainly made up of sugars and some proteins, no? So glycoproteins etong ating glycocalyx. They would function for attachment, no? Pwedeng pandikit kasi malagkit, okay? And this also inhibits killing or phagocytosis by your white blood cells, and they may also act as receptors. All right. Now there are two types of glycocalyx. We have the capsule. No, the capsule is highly organized, ayan, and tightly attached to the cell wall of the organism. Okay. Now the other one is the slime layer, which is more loosely organized and loosely attached. This is basically responsible for the formation of biofilms, no, on linings, okay, or endothelial linings natin. Ayan, so slime layer and capsule. Capsule is largely responsible for inhibition of phagocytosis. Etong si slime layer naman is largely responsible for attachment or pagdikit-dikit. Okay? Then papasok tayo, no? So glycocalyx, underneath the glycocalyx is of course the cell wall. Okay? Now the cell wall is composed of several structure, but the main component is the peptidoglycan layer. The peptidoglycan layer is composed of two main structures, the N-acetylglucosamine or NAG and N-acetylmuramic acid or NAM. Together, they are linked by polypeptides. Okay? And polypeptides are actually or transpeptidases, no? They are glued together by transpeptidases, yung ating NAG and NAM. Okay? So the cell wall is quite responsible for integrity, no, ng cell natin. It provides support and flexibility, no. So hindi madaling mamatay yung cells na yung bacterial cells primarily because of their cell walls. Okay? Ano ba itsura nitong NAM and NAG? Ayan. Ganyan ang kanilang itsura. So interspersed NAM and NAG. Okay? Wait lang. Sandali ha. Okay, so to continue again, so this is how NAM and NAG would look like, no? Interspersed sila. So NAM, NAG, and then they're bound together by tetrapeptide bonds. Okay? Okay, so the component, no, how much peptidoglycan is found in the cell wall would dictate gram staining reactions ng ating organisms, no? How would that be possible? Ayan, so uh, organisms, bacteria specifically, are generally divided into either gram-positive bacteria or gram-negative bacteria. And how is that done? No? How do we identify that? Of course, we perform a staining method called gram staining. Okay? Now, gram staining would be able to detect, okay, whether makapal ang peptidoglycan or hindi, based on the end color of the staining technique. Usually, gram-positive organisms are stained purple, which is the color of the primary stain. Okay? While gram-negative organisms are stained red, which is the color of the counter stain. Now, nga nung purple man ang atong gram-positive, why is it able to store the primary stain? No? It is able to store the primary stain kahit na i-decolorize pa natin siya kasi napakakapal ng peptidoglycan niya. O, di ba? O, napakasimple ng staining technique but it will give us an idea as to makapal ba ang peptidoglycan or hindi. Okay? So, purple is the color of the primary stain, which is the first stain that touches the bacterial cell wall. It will be left there even if the staining technique would include decolorization dahil makukulong sa kakapal ng peptidoglycan. Okay? Why so? You might ask. Okay? Crystal violet, the peptidoglycan layer actually has a very strong affinity for crystal violet. Ganahan siya sa crystal violet. And dahil makapal na makapal ang peptidoglycan, so didikit na didikit ang peptidoglycan layer. Also, we have teichoic acid for gram-positive cell walls which would glue, no, the binding of the primary stain to the peptidoglycan layer. So kahit na mag-decolorize, di siya matangtang, no? So around 20 to 80 nanometer thick na peptidoglycan layer for gram-positive cell walls. Okay? Now, gram-negative cell walls, look, mingaw iyahang peptidoglycan layer. Okay? Isa o duha lang ka layer ilahang peptidoglycan. Kaya, kahit na mag-absorb siya ng crystal violet, which is the primary stain for gram staining. Gustong-gusto naman ng peptidoglycan ng crystal violet. Kaya lang dahil napakanipis at mag-a-undergo pa ng decolorization, matatanggal siya sa kanipis ng peptidoglycan layer. Also, there's no teichoic acid that would glue the combination of the peptidoglycan and the crystal violet. No? So, munang when we apply the decolorizer, matanggal po siya. Also, part of the gram-negative cell wall is the lipopolysaccharide. Okay? Now, lipopolysaccharide are made up of fats, no, lipids, and sugars. Lipids, as you know, are quite sensitive to a lot of chemicals. Okay, acids, for example, so pag nag-touch yung decolorizer, medyo nasisira, madaling masira yung lipopolysaccharide. So, makapasok talaga ang decolorizer at matanggal niya yung crystal violet dito sa napakanipis na peptidoglycan layer ng gram-negative cell wall. Kaya, no, matanggal yung purple. And when we introduce another stain, yun na yung kanyang maa-absorb. At yun yung magiging final color ng cell wall. Kaya, si gram-positive, makapalang peptidoglycan, purple, kahit na mag-decolorize. Si gram-neg, nipis ang peptidoglycan, matangtang yod inig, decolorize, matangtang ang purple. And so, it will absorb the last color or the last stain that it comes into contact with. Okay? However, si Gramneg, although nipis yung peptidoglycan, note, no, yung kanyang lipopolysaccharide, kahit na napaka-sensitive niyan, this is a very important factor, no, why gram-negative can cause a wide range of infection as their LPS or lipopolysaccharide serves as an endotoxin. No? Endotoxins are usually the culprit in most infections caused by gram-negative organism. Okay. Also, there are porins. No, these are very important channels allowing the entry and exit of several materials. All right. So we have gram-positive, gram-negative cell walls. Okay. However, meron din tayo ng mga bakterya na kakaiba ang cell wall. Hindi kagaya nung gram-positive and gram-negative. Okay? One very good example are the bacteria Mycobacterium and to some extent Nocardia. Okay? Why? What's atypical about their cell walls? They do have peptidoglycan layer. Okay? They do have that. They are even considered gram-positive. However, there's another component in their cell wall that's not found in the cell walls of most organisms. And that component is the mycolic acid. Okay? So mycolic acid is carbon atom chains, no? Which allows them to become, which allows them to uh, survive decolorization after staining it with the primary stain. Okay? So, hindi natatanggal. Okay? That's why we call them acid-fast organisms because even if they are decolorized with acid, their primary colors or primary stain will be fastened doon sa kanilang cell walls. Okay? Walang mycolic acid dun sa ibang organism. Nandito lang yan marami kay Mycobacterium and to some extent meron din si Nocardia. Okay? So this is the basis for acid fast staining, yung mycolic acid content ng Mycobacterium. Another organism with a typical cell wall is the Mycoplasma. Okay? So mycoplasmas have no cell walls. Okay? They have no cell walls, only the cytoplasmic membrane. And dahil wala silang cell wall, nothing will dictate no specific shape, no? Unlike yung ating kokay, dahil may cell wall siya, so cell wall na bilog, kaya bilog siya. Okay? Si bacilli may cell wall na pahaba, kaya pahaba siya. Pero si mycoplasma, dahil wala siyang cell wall, walang magdidictate ng kanyang shape. And so it can become anything. No, it can be circular or spherical. It could be elongated. It could be tear-shaped. No, it could be caudal, parang ganito. No, so napaka-atypical. Walang cell wall. Okay, its membrane is stabilized by sterols or lipids. Ayan, ito yung kanilang itsura, di ba? Iba-iba, samot-saring shape ang meron. Alright? Now let's move inward. Okay, so glycocalyx, cell wall, ngayon paloob tayo, cell membrane naman. Okay? So cell membrane may not be as rigid as cell wall, but it plays a very important function. Okay? Similar to the cell membrane ng uh, eukaryotes, right? So the cell membrane would be responsible for uh, entry and exit of elements into the cell. Okay? But in addition to that function, ang cell membrane ng ating prokaryotes would also serve as the electron transport system. Remember, they don't have mitochondria. Huh? So their energy or yung kanilang ATP is usually formed dito sa kanilang cell membrane. Okay? The cell membrane is also parang may sensor, no? It's sensitive to changes in the environment. So if the environment is starting to dry up or if it gets too hot for them, it would send signals, no? Mm. And then, of course, inside the cell membrane is the cytoplasm. So the cytoplasm is mostly water, okay? But it may be dense gelatinous because of the dissolved materials in it, like sugar, salt, amino acids, right? So the cytoplasm serves as the solvent for materials na ginagamit nila for metabolic or cellular functions. Then, of course, they have the chromosome. Okay? So, usually, natabunan na. Okay? So, single circular DNA molecule yung ating bacterial chromosome. Okay? With the exception of Borrelia burgdorferi and some streptomyces na merong linear DNA. Hindi nakakabit yung dalawang dulo. Okay? Straight lang yung kanilang genetic material. However, for most, it's circular DNA pabilog. Okay? Or connected yung kanilang genetic material. Okay? So, ang ating prokaryotes, remember, they don't have nuclear membrane and so we cannot call that as a nucleus. Nakahubad naman. So, nuclear area lang or nucleoid ang tawag natin sa areang ito kung saan meron yung genetic material. Okay? And then they have the plasmids, okay? So ang plasmids, if this is the bacterial chromosome or in genetic material, they have smaller circles or smaller groups of genetic material. No? So ang tawag doon plasmids, okay? So these are self-replicating. It could divide on its own, no? Very small circles of DNA, okay? Maliit pero these are very important, especially in conjugation, no? Bacterial conjugation. Why? These plasmids or itong mga small circles of DNA would contain uh, genes that would code for antibiotic resistance, no, toxic metal tolerance, production of enzymes, and production of toxins. Okay, this is actually what is used in laboratories, no, because these are readily manipulated and easily transferred. So, pag mag-genetic engineering, ito yung kanilang minamanipulate. We cannot manipulate the bacterial chromosome as it is too long or too large, no, maraming masyadong genes involved. So, mahabang pag-aaral, no, kung ipilit. So, usually we stick with studies of bacterial DNA using plasmids. Okay? Ito yung ipinapasa kapag ginamit nila yung kanilang sex pili. Okay? So, one bacteria may pass on a plasmid into another organism using its pili. Then, of course, we have the ribosomes, no? So, both eukaryote and prokaryotes have ribosomes. Ribosomes are, of course, the primary site of protein synthesis, di ba? O, napaka-importante. Ayan, yung ribosome natin, may large subunit, may small subunit. Both are equally important para makakreate ng protein, no? Ayan, di ba? Ingana, di ang mahitabo sa sulod, no? Oh, tapos lalabas na yung nagawang protein. 'Di ba? Yun yung mga codons na pinagdidikit-dikit, pinagtatagpi-tagpi to create the uh, proteins. Tapos ilalabas din naman doon. Galing, 'di ba? So ribosomes. In prokaryotes, the ribosomes are free swimming. Okay, there are some attached to membranes, but remember there are very, 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 very few organelles in prokaryotes, unlike in eukaryotes, no? So apart from free-swimming ribosomes, most of the ribosomes are attached to membranes, specifically sa RER or the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Now, moving on, we have inclusions and granules. So, in human cells, we don't have inclusions, okay? Or granules. Nagkakaroon lang yan kung merong abnormal conditions. Although, there are some cells with innate granules like your WBCs, right? Your basophils, meron talaga silang granules. Okay? Pero ang inclusions, okay, wala tayo normally niyan. Pag nagka-inclusion yung human cells, it signals for usually viral infection. Alright? So, but in prokaryotes, like your bacterial cells, inclusions and granules are actually storage, okay, ng kanilang mga glycogen, pwede rin namang gas vesicles, pwedeng carboxysomes, or this could be baon, okay, polyphosphate granules, pagkain ng mga bakterya natin, metachromatic or volutin granules. Ayan, no, yung mga volutin granules. Ito, gas vesicle. This is an ancient bacteria or yung RK bacteria. RK yan kay square. Wala ba yata clinically significant bacteria na square, di ba? Oh, so, kani sila ito mga makita sa Dead Sea. Yan, no? Oh, so, those structures that you see inside are gas vesicles allowing them to float in surfaces of water or even in air. Eto, ayan, di ba? Baon-baon. These are volutin granules or metachromatic granules. Alright? And then, last but not the least, the endospores. Okay? Endospores are resting cells. For bacteria, these are resting cells. Okay? These are uh, protection, no? These are used by bacteria for perpetuation and not for reproduction. Okay? Kasi fungi are also organisms that are capable of producing spores. But the spore production for fungi is for multiplication or generation of uh, organisms. Okay? But for bacteria, the endospores are protective. Okay? Hindi ito pamparami. Okay? So these are resting cells. It's protective in the sense that when the environment becomes adverse, okay? So the environment becomes too hot, or there's radiation, or there are chemicals, okay? Or wala ng water, organisms that are capable of producing endospores will produce them during that time. However, limited lang ang merong ganitong capacity. Buti naman, di ba? Dahil may hirapan tayong patayin sila pag lahat silang may capacity to produce endospores. So generally, we only have Bacillus, no, the genus Bacillus and Clostridium that are spore formers. Okay? Now, Bacillus and Clostridium usually undergo the process of sporulation if if the environment becomes abnormal. Okay? Para maprotektahan yung bacteria, they would undergo sporulation because they are capable of doing so. So, ayan, no? Isa natin ulit. Ayan, nagpo-form siya ng, ulitin natin. Hintayin nating maiulit niya. So if you notice, nagkopya, no, nagdouble yung kanyang genetic material. Ayan, so mamamatay, masisira din yung mother cell. Pero a part of it is protected. Ayan. So, it would create, no, once na abnormal yung environment, na feel nung cell membrane, it would copy its genetic material. Okay? And then it would push the copy into one side. Okay? And then that copy will be enclosed in several layers of protective material. Okay? And then, magkakreate sila nung uh, dipicolinic acid. Okay? Calcium and dipicolinic acid, that's the component of the spore coat. Once the spore coat is completely formed, the mother cell would of course die kasi napakatindi na nung abnormality ng environment. However, part of the mother cell is saved inside this spore endospore, no? Now, it will be kept safe in the endospore kahit na ilang taon, okay? Pag under normal conditions, hindi natin siya inatake. So, it will be safe in the endospore or the spore coat. However, if the environment becomes normal again, the endospore would undergo the process called germination, where, ayan, ayan, so ito yung spore coat, right? Oh, yan yung endospore. So pag normal na yung environment, hinay-hinay na malalize yung spore coat niya to release the saved na organism. So this will become a vegetative bacteria na pwede na ulit siyang undergo ng metabolic functions. So again, pag na-feel ng cell wall, bacterial cell membrane rather, na abnormal yung environment, automatically it would create a copy of its genetic material, save one copy inside a protective covering or the spore coat made up of calcium and dipicolinic acid. And then it will be kept safe in that dahil napaka-protective, no? Napaka-rigid nung spore coat. And then when the time comes na normal ulit ang environment, malalize yung spore coat niya to release the vegetative bacterium. Ayan. No? So, endospores are linked to longevity. So they can last from 25 years up to 250 million years, no? Kasi may mga nakita silang mga remnants of endospores, okay, sa mga fossils. Okay? So kunya mamatay na lang di ita og dili ta kakuan-ani, no? So syempre, meron din naman tayong panlaban. Hindi pwedeng hindi natin labanan yung mga may endospores. We can still destroy endospores by subjecting contaminated material to pressurized steam, no? I-autoclave natin sila at 120 degrees Celsius for more than the usual. Kasi usually nasa 15 minutes lang tayo niyan. However, we have to prolong it, especially if we know na yung organisms natin ay endospore formers. So it has to be 20 to 30 minutes longer yung ating autoclaving or sterilization technique. All right? So that's the end of our topic on structures. No? So study well and prepare for a quiz.